Hello, friend. Welcome back to the Pain-Free Period podcast. I'm your host, Allie Becker. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're so glad you're here. On today's episode, we are talking about that very sneaky culprit that can make your period pain and PMS symptoms way worse. And that culprit, my friend, is called caffeine. Now, I get it. Caffeine and coffee feel like a totally necessary lifeline for so many of us. But here's the thing. Caffeine is a vasoconstrictor, which is just a really fancy term for something that narrows your blood vessels. And when blood flow is restricted, your period cramps get way worse. And ain't nobody got time for that. But that's not all. Caffeine and coffee actually impact our menstrual cycle in many different ways, and we're going to discuss those in this episode today. But don't you worry, we're also going to talk about some easy swaps and hacks that you can try to either cut caffeine back or cut it out altogether and experiment with seeing if that makes your PMS and period pain any better. Cool? Cool. And just for the record, every single woman that has come through the Pain-Free Period program has either cut caffeine back to 1 cup a day, experimented with having decaf during their bleed, or cut it out entirely, and they have all had tremendous relief from their period pain and PMS symptoms. So that is something to think about while you grip tighter and tighter to your coffee mug as we go through this podcast. So let's talk about a few of those ways that caffeine affects our body. So like we just talked about, you can think about your blood vessels as a highway for your blood flow. And caffeine makes those highways narrower and narrower. And when less blood can flow to your uterus, cramps can feel sharper and more painful. Also, caffeine has a 12-hour half-life. That means if you drink a coffee at noon, half of the amount of caffeine will be left in your body at midnight. So if you're ever wondering why you're having a hard time falling asleep, you're tossing and turning at night, it could very well be that you're still highly stimulated from the caffeine that you drank earlier in the day. That's why it's super helpful for most people to stop drinking coffee before noon, ideally even earlier than that. In fact, the earlier the better. But you also don't want to drink it first thing when you wake up in the morning. Your body is still coming online, your cortisol is naturally peaking, and your system just really isn't ready for that hit of caffeine just yet. Waiting even 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up in the morning gives your body to wake up and come online on its own time. This can help you have more steady energy throughout the day, have a better sleep at night, and have less of that stress, anxiety cycle that can make period pain symptoms worse. And another pro tip is have your caffeine after you've eaten food, not on an empty stomach. Coffee first thing in the morning on an empty stomach can spike your cortisol, it can throw your blood sugar levels off, and it can lead to energy crashes and irritability later in the day. But if you've had a solid breakfast with some good protein and healthy fats, you'll get a smoother energy boost and avoid that midday slump. Of course, caffeine is also a stimulant. This means that it can ramp up our nervous system. It often increases cortisol, increases tension, and it can lead to many of us feeling stuck in a high anxiety alert mode. And when your nervous system is stuck in alert mode, it can make your body and muscles hold tension and feel tighter. It can be way harder to let go and heal, and it can create more stress. All of that can show up as cramps, low back pain, migraines, mood swings, or fatigue. So quick recap. Here's a few symptoms that caffeine can worsen. Stronger cramps due to restricted blood flow. Low back pain and muscle tension from nervous system stress. Migraines, since caffeine constricts blood vessels in the brain as well. Mood swings and anxiety from poor sleep and high cortisol. And fatigue, the crash after the stimulation. Okay, Allie, that's all fine and dandy, but what the heck should I do? I'm so glad you asked. So you can try cutting back on caffeine by putting less beans in your brew. You could have a half calf drink, which has half full caffeine and half decaf, or you could have decaf coffee, but you want to look for the Swiss water brewing method. That's the better decaf coffee to drink. Black and green teas also have less caffeine, so that's an option for weaning off. You could also try herbal teas that don't have any caffeine. That's a great swap out for maybe your second or third coffee that you would have in the day. Have a decaf or a caffeine-free tea instead. If you do want to keep coffee in your diet, and many people do, you could try pairing it with L-theanine. This is a supplement that you can order online or find in many pharmacies. You can get it in a white powder form that dissolves in your coffee, and this can help offset some of the anxiety and jitters that many people get from caffeine. A lot of women really benefit from taking breaks from caffeine during their late luteal phase, so like the week leading up to their period, and especially benefit from taking a full stop from caffeine during their bleed, especially the first couple days when most women are their most sensitive. This is a great time where you can bring in that decaf or those herbal teas as a really good swap. A great aim is to cut back to 1 cup of coffee a day, ideally before noon, sooner the better, and swapping out those other cups of coffee in the day for a decaf or a herbal tea or some other delicious hot drink that's a good substitute for you. You can also experiment with cutting coffee out altogether. I know it sounds crazy and it is going to take a little bit of time to recalibrate to a new normal, but a lot of women, once they recalibrate, notice that they have far less anxiety, way more stable moods, and a decrease in period pain and PMS symptoms. I know that's the case for me. So if you've been wondering why your cramps and PMS pain might feel worse some months than others, caffeine could be one of the hidden culprits. And the best part is you don't have to quit altogether, and you don't have to quit cold turkey. Any small changes could have big benefits. All right, that's it for this episode. If you're ready to learn some other cool swaps that could help you alleviate and eliminate period pain and PMS, I want to invite you to my free pain-free period masterclass, how to finally ditch period pain and PMS without pills, prescriptions, or procedures, even if you have tried everything and nothing has worked. It's September 18th, 2025, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll put the link to join in the caption below. I would love to have you there. Until next time, have a great week. Take care of yourself. I'm rooting for you.